You right guys, how are we all doing? It's Andy here from Peninsula Painting Projects. Now, a couple of weeks ago, in fact maybe a couple of months ago, I actually received the D&D paint sets from Army Painter. Now, unfortunately, due to university and doing my dissertation and stuff like that, I couldn't do the painting tutorial that I wanted to do at the time, but now I've got my life back. So in this video, we're going to paint up the D&D Owlbear. Now, I don't know if you can see that, but it's a pretty sweet model. I'm so happy, I'm so glad that I've got it because, as you all know, since I've opened the shop, Primal War Games, we've been playing D&D every week, and it must be, what, 7 months now, 7-8 months into the campaign, and we're having so much fun, and I would advise anyone who's never played D&D, try and get involved in a group. Because before playing this, I was a bit like, oh no, I'm not really into that. But since playing it, I love it. It's fantastic. And it's a great way to meet new friends, which, you know, hell, in life, it's hard enough to meet friends, but meeting friends who are involved in hobbies even better. So enough blabbing on. We're going to use the paints from both sets. It's going to be a quick and easy tutorial to follow along. I know some people don't like these styles of tutorials, but I was thinking, because it's a D&D model, obviously DMs and people who play Dungeons and Dragons, they may not want to spend hours and hours on a model. They may just want to paint it quickly, so that's a bonus. So guys, enough chatting, let's crack on with the video. Nice one, see you in a second. Right guys, so we are going to begin by painting this owlbear. So we're going to use the grey primer that's provided within the starter set. It's the adventure paint set. Now, personally, if you're a beginner and you've just bought this set and you want to use this, then that's great. But if I was you, I'd get the Army Painter primers if you want to paint this, because they are fantastic. Now, I've just found the biggest brush I can find, and you're just going to evenly place this primer over the model. Now, the model's already grey, but luckily enough, both the primer and the plastic are 2 different greys. Now, I've previously washed this model just under some warm soapy water, and yeah, just to get any resin solution off it, which may stop the paint from adhering to the model. So we don't want to obscure any details in this, so we're just going to lightly place it over. I'm doing it a little bit slapdash. That's because there's a camera in between us. And as you can see, I found the biggest brush I can find, and it's pretty battered, so I wouldn't really advise to use your best brush. And make sure all that primer gets into all the nuts and crannies, because that's going to act as a key later on when we put our main base coats on. So guys, I'm not sure if you can see that, looks like a little bit wet there, but when I return, obviously all the primer will be done. So guys, the primer's all dried up now, and I was really impressed with that. It was nice and thin, and it went over the model like a treat. Now next we're going to use, obviously, owlbear brown. What better name to call a brown than an owlbear brown, and obviously what better model to paint. So obviously clean the brush out, give it a little bit wet. I'm going to use same large brush again, because obviously it's such a large surface area, and we're going to coat all of this a little bit more controlled this time. And as you can see, it's going on nice and smooth because of that primer, that grey primer. And also, I need to mention these Dungeons and Dragons Army Painter war paints. They're really nice. You know, they shake really well. They come out the bottle really well. You don't need to really use any water to thin it down, or that's how I feel, you know, painting this now. It's just going on smoothly, which is absolutely fantastic. And obviously using such a big brush, you know, people might think, oh, you might lose control, but in actual fact, you can still control it very well. And obviously, we want to cover such a large area, don't we? So we need to get it done and dusted. It is a quick painting tutorial after all as well. and any other parts that we spill over to. I have got a smaller army paints brush here that we can use to obviously fix that. We're going to try and go around the neck a little bit, because obviously it's going to be a different colour. Try and blend that in a little bit. But yeah guys, I'm not a pro painter, you know this. I think I'm a decent painter, don't get me wrong, I don't think I'm terrible. But some of the techniques I use are, you know, for beginners. And I've started incorporating other techniques from other armies. So under his eyes are going to be brown. So I know it's a big brush, but I can still get control underneath the eyes. Hopefully you can see all this. I get a bit closer to the screen, and I've just put my finger in all the brown. So I'll have to sort that out now. So I'll just put all my finger all over the brown. Not to worry, we can sort this out then. We may have to do another thin coat over the top. I'm hoping we don't, because that just saves time then, doesn't it? I've not done a painting tutorial in a long time, so I'm getting back into the groove of things really. But yeah, obviously with it being a base coat, we're just going to slap it on. Not going to worry too much. So guys, next we're going to use orc skin, which is like a nice off-white grey colour. So giving it a good shake. I've noticed obviously with these, you don't really need to shake them as much as the previous paints, which is great. So let's try and get in to the detailed area on his chest. So the other paint is slightly wet, but I'm not too concerned about that. We're just gonna get this on here, and obviously when I come off the camera I'm going to touch it up, because it is slightly harder trying to paint with a camera in front of you. But as you can see, it's not the hardest thing to do, because the details, like, you know, smack bang in your face really. What we're going to do a bit of his eyebrows as well. Can we see this? Hopefully. Let's get a bit better tip on my brush. I think I need to give this brush a good clean. Do a couple down here, a couple of strands there. Hopefully that was in shot, and there. And that's it. I think that's the only part of the grey that we need there. It's slowly coming together, isn't it guys? I'll give it a little bit of a touch up. In fact, we're going to use orange on the eyes. So yeah, that should be fine. In fact, while we're here, we'll do the black. We'll do the claws now. We might as well get it done, mightn't we? Get this done and dusted. So we're going to use Bismal Black. Now previously when I did the unboxing for this, some of the names, you know, I wasn't really aware of them, but since playing D&D, obviously the names make a lot more sense, like Cobalt. I think there's one there called Cobalt Red or something like that, and obviously they are a race within Dungeons and Dragons, which is pretty cool. I'm going to do all his claws black now. Like I said, it's a bit harder to paint this on camera, but you get the gist of things. You know, it's a nice model to paint. It's fairly easy. I need to sort out better camera position, I think, in the future. You forget how hard things are when you don't do them for a long time. But I'll be honest, this model has been, you know, a joy to paint up to now. So get the nails done, and then I think we're gonna do the beak next. A bit more of a better point on. Oh, I've just touched there. That in focus yet, just double checking. So it is starting to look better, isn't it? Let's see if we can get... Now I'm going to have to use more of a finer brush for that. But as you can see, guys, claws are coming along. I'll do the rest off camera because it'll be a lot easier. But you are getting the drift of this painting tutorial. Done a bit of a touch up on the black. Done the rest of his beak, his eyes. Touched up his breastbone there. I'm going to use this for obviously his around his fingers, his claws, his toes. So we'll do that first. This looks like a nice colour, to be honest. So it's going on nicely. And don't forget, guys, if you do go over, you can always touch her up. It's not the end of the world, really, is it? But yeah, like I've said, it's quite hard with having the camera in the way, but we'll have a little go with the feet. Yeah, I think in future, if I ever painted one of these again, I would do all the little detail bits first, because obviously you're holding the model constantly from all angles, so it's gonna ruin the base coat, isn't it? So I will do all that. I'll probably have to do 2 coats of this. And maybe do a bit of a touching up there. So that's all that on there. What else do we need to do? I will probably do the stone off camera as well, because it'll make things a little bit easier. And then I think when we come back, it'll be time to wash the whole model. Right, guys, so I've done all a bit of touching up there. I've done his tongue, done his eyes. So the eyes and tongue were done in the following colours. And then we're going to do the wash now, guys. So we're going to use shadow wash. I've added it to my palette, and I'm going to put a bit of water in, mix it with a bit of water, because sometimes it can be a little bit too strong. And we're just going to apply it over all the feathers. And you can already see how it's seeping into all the recesses, it's getting into all that detail, and it's going to make this model look basically more 3D and make it look a bit more realistic. Now, I don't know if the angle's right then, because obviously I'm trying to look via the phone, but as you can see now, going into all the recesses. Which will help with the next stage. So put a bit on his brow, over his eyes, and his tongue as well, give it some shadow in there. A bit on his head. So I'm absolutely looking forward to using this model as well, because we are playing a published D&D campaign at the moment. Just do it all over the wings. Get it everywhere, basically. This model's really nice, but he's quite awkward to paint as well, you know. Even without the camera in front of me, he is still quite challenging. So I think I'll have to do the rest of this this shade paint off camera. I'm not sure if you can see it as well, but you know where I've obviously been handling the model, and I think when the grey primer was on the base, I've touched the base, and I think I've touched the top of the fur as well, so it's left like a bit of a grey effect, which I may actually come in handy for obviously highlighting and stuff. I do hope this is in focus, guys. Right then, I'm going to continue this off camera. That's what it's looking like at the moment. A little bit shiny, but you can see the detail in the chest and stuff like that. So we'll be back in a minute. Right then guys, it's now time to finish off this owlbear. We're going to do the dry brushing stage. This is going to complete the model now, and we're just going to get the highlights out now. So we're going to use Minotaur hide on the feathers. We're going to use obviously the Army Painter dry brush, which is a very good dry brush. I've been using this for a long time. So just pop it on your brush, and then we're just going to work into the bristles. I'm not too sure whether I've cleaned this brush properly, but should be okay. As you can see, all the paint's still coming off there. And I'm just going to just brush it. Yeah, I think this brush needs a good paint, good damn clean. The same again. Don't need to do a perfect job, just let's get it on the model. Oh, that's a little bit too much. See, normally I would probably do this with a lot larger brush, to be honest, just to get the model painted a lot quicker. So that's the brown all dry brushed, and now we're going to go on to the little white parts here, and there's brown, and then we're going to be done. Then we're going to use obviously a clean dry brush. I've got two, you see, so we're going to do the same again. Just work into all the bristles, get rid of all the excess as well, and then we're going to dry brush along here. Like that. I might do a little bit over the claws as well. And guys, this model is complete. So I hope you enjoy this painting tutorial, and I hope it helped. And I'll see you soon. Nice one guys, thanks for watching. Try.